All right. Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Fanatics, a college football betting show. We got quite a crew today. We got a lot to talk about for week 1. What a great week it was. We got to talk week 2. We got a lot to talk about. Let's just get right to it. My name is Kyle Comas, and joining me, we have the CEO of the Coda Sports Gambling Network, who decided to be a scumbag today with that background. We got Pace Meyer. We got the GBR, Nebraska living man himself. We got Mr. Corey Adair. We got the Milwaukee living man, the Ohio State fan that is VFC. And our first guest of the season, a recurring guest for the 3rd season in a row. We got Boomer Sooner. We got PG. Boys, week 2, how we feeling?
Let's go, baby.
Juiced. Glad to be here.
Is it Friday?
And, all of our teams are undefeated. Oh, Pace.
Okay. All of our teams, yeah.
But yeah,
different divisions, bruv.
I mean, like they lost by 4 yards. Like, let's be real. That was a fucking incredible game.
Yeah, I mean, they almost. I mean, Dion should have been fired if NDSU wins that game because of what happened. What, a minute 20 left, and he throws the ball or whatever they were doing. Like,
yeah,
what
they
are we doing?
Gave that was free ridiculous. plays. They had
Free
money.
plays.
They had money.
I mean,
total over, and
yeah.
I respect it, but
yeah, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, I knew Dion was a bad coach, but like doing that, like, come on. But I also read some stuff that was probably Sanders called too. Also, idiot. Like, come on.
Oh, he said it in the post game. He's like, I like the matchup. I took it. It's a learning lesson. Like, he took that one, took the blame on that one. But like, let's be honest. If that quarterback gets it to the end zone, it's NDSU won. Like, they were going to catch that ball. Like, that was.
I don't know. That's pretty like they were going to catch. I don't know, like a Hail Mary. Like they could have not caught. Like, I don't know.
They did catch it.
Correct. I don't know. It was a good game all around. So, what is Colorado's win total again?
For
5.5, I believe.
They ain't getting it.
That's tough. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they're about to be over.
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good week 1. Everyone always gives me shit that I root for 2 teams, but I'll tell you what, both my teams scored 40 points. Damn it, both of them did. Can't say that too often, but they both
offensively
did.
Too. Offensively,
we did not have any. No, we did not have any defensive touchdowns.
Nope.
That was no defensive. We had a special teams one get called back by a BS block in the back, but otherwise,
first time scoring 40 without a defensive touchdown since 2021.
First time in over 2 years, a wide receiver has caught more than 1 touchdown catch in a season.
It's big.
Yeah, they actually did. They actually read a stat that in 2021, there's been 3 touchdowns by Iowa wide receivers caught. In 2022, there was 2. That game, there was 3 wide receiver touchdowns. Just that game.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Favorites did well too, except Virginia Tech. But favorites did very well. Double-digit favorites, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Diego Pavia, man. Diego Pavia.
I mean, hey, I tried telling everyone during the draft, but
You did.
nobody listened.
People laughed.
People did. But PG, you're being kind of quiet over there. It's kind of surprising. What's going on, man?
I'm just listening. We had a great first week. I'm up pretty big, knock on wood, but that obviously can change fast. And like you guys said, the favorites were good. I had a lot of favorites. I had a lot of team total overs. Those were hot. It was a good week.
I do have to say, shout out PG for taking the under on Monday night. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. Also, I mean, like, DJU, man. Like, what are we doing?
Dude, he sucks.
So bad.
It's to the point where I actually kind of feel bad for him because he's getting so mean. I mean, that's part of the job. But dude, holy cow!
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do feel bad, but also like some of the, like, I think it was Kyle tweeted or somebody tweeted it in here, but like some of those throws were like, he just turned 1 year old. He could have made that. Like, I mean, come on, easy plays, easy throws.
Yeah.
And he's getting NIL money. Like he's fine,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But
I still can't. I just don't understand how teams keep falling for it.
Yeah.
big, strong, athletic guy.
Yeah.
You just can't do one of the things that a quarterback needs to do, which is throw the ball. So
he runs the 4th and 1 QB sneak very, very well. I will say
Yeah.
that. Very well.
True.
But
Very
All right.
limited passer.
Well, hey, we got a lot to talk about here, boys. I know we want to talk week one. We got a snake draft coming up here. Let's start with the trivia question of the week. So I think we're 0 for 2 on trivia questions. So let's see if we can get someone to get it right this time. So we'll see. So I kind of got an inspiration from this one because if you guys didn't see, LSU and USC, that game set the attendance record in Allegiant Stadium. The highest attendance. What? Shout out B-Russ. Yep. And so it got me thinking about it. So the question I got for you guys is, what FBS school had the highest average home attendance last year? So of all their home games, what FBS school had the highest home attendance? So I'll let you think about it really quick while I do our ad read. The Fanatics college football betting podcast is sponsored by Better Edge. Better Edge is a social betting platform that operates like a marketplace. If you're wondering how that works, let me just use an example for you. Let's take the Texas-Michigan game being played this weekend. One person on the platform likes Texas money line, places an order for $10 on that line. Another person likes Michigan money line, and they place $10 on the money line. Now you got an exchange because it's peer-to-peer, not peer-to-sportsbook. That's what makes it legal in almost every single state. Now, most sports books, when you have spreads and over-unders, they might juice the lines a little bit. Better Edge, you never get that. It's always minus 100, plus 100. You get a much higher payback for the users. They also have competitions to make things competitive, like Battle Royale, Survivor, Chasers, a lot of things to make things interesting. And it also incorporates social media, so people can go on the platform, post their picks, and share it with their followers, and their followers can fade them to create an order or tail them as well. We love Better Edge here at the network. Go to the website, www.betteredge.com. Use promo code Kyle, Corey, Pace, or Play Me. Use any of those promo codes. You get $20 added to your account. Again, that is absolutely free money. You put in $20, you get $20 back. Again, www.betteredge.com. So, gentlemen, the trivia question I had for you is, what FBS school had the highest average home attendance last season? So I'm going to just choose somebody random. We'll start with Corey. Who do you think it is?
I mean, it's got to be the Big House, I guess. National championship season, that type of capacity. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Okay. PG. Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I think that's a good guess. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think it's a really big stadium, and they like to fudge the numbers a little bit because the seats are about 3 inches apart. And I don't know how they get away with it, but there's a lot of people in that stadium, and I don't know. Seems like a decent guess.
Okay. Sounds good. Pace, who do you think it is?
Yeah, I was going to follow Corey and go Michigan as well, but I'll go with something different. I'll go Oregon.
Oregon? Okay. And VFC?
Yeah, I was between two schools here, Michigan being one of them. But for the better of the team, I'll go with the other one just to make sure we're covered here. I'm going to go with Penn State. I think they've got a giant stadium, so let's see.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, this FBS team had an average attendance of 109,971 fans. And one of you are correct. It is the Big House, Michigan.
Nice.
It had to be the national championship season.
Go.
Go.
Yep.
And for the record, VFC Penn State was second. So
figured it was close. I know those are kind of the big two. OSU's up there as well.
Tennessee's up there. Tennessee's top 5.
Yep, Tennessee's up there. I think Oregon was top 10. So I think you guys nailed it. So
that's honestly surprising. Autzon's not very big capacity wise.
They were pretty good last year, though. I mean, Nix was third place for the Heisman. So, but all right. Well, hey, so we kind of talked a little bit about it, but I think let's just continue the conversation further. Let's talk about week one. Anything stand out to week one? Any headlines you got? Let's just talk week one in general. PG, we'll start with you. What really stood out to you week one?
Yeah, I kind of keep going back. I was thinking about, there's really 2 games, but the A&M Notre Dame game was really good. Obviously played in Kyle Field. Was pretty impressed with both teams, but A&M's obviously very flawed because they don't have a quarterback. Weigman is not good enough. But if they had a quarterback, I would actually think that A&M could be pretty good. It was a very high level type of game. So that game was great. And then our game, what was our game Sunday night? LSU. Yeah, LSU USC. I mean, we should have known noted fraud Brian Kelly. He'd find a way to lose that game. I thought LSU looked better, but shout out to USC for hanging around. Miller Moss, good little quarterback. Both quarterbacks I thought played pretty good. It was just about who was going to punch the ball into the end zone actually and stop kicking field goals. I was on that over, so I almost died, but easy loss for me there.
Yeah,
those were the big two that kind of stuck out. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead, Base.
If you're A&M, would you rather have Weigman or DJU?
I mean, at least DJU, like you could just run like a Colin Klein, like big quarterback heavy set thing. I don't know. Weigman, I don't know. He runs okay, but I don't know, man. He missed guys worse. DJU had a lot of drops. Weigman just straight up was skipping the ball in there. He was throwing it 5 yards wide on little out routes. Like nothing was very clean with him at all. So like I probably would say DJU actually.
Weigman had a 3.3 yards per pass. That was his average. That's insane.
That's nuts.
31.8 QBR.
That is crazy.
They got to have somebody better in that QB room, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had Max Johnson before he transferred to UNC. I always thought he was better than Weigman.
Yeah, they chose Weigman and said, "See you later" to him. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Nope, I think those were two good standout games. Corey, what about you? What really stood out to you week one?
Yeah, so a couple things would be, new faces in different places. Cam Ward, Miami. Mm-hmm. That was really impressive. We knew Florida was probably not going to be very good, but that's still talent. There's still talent on that roster. So you'd think in a rivalry game they'd play a little bit better. Ward looked incredible. Miami really does look to be back. And then, PG touched on it a little bit there. USC, that defense was a lot better than people anticipated it to be. We know what Kelly's struggles are in big games. We've seen that. It's well documented. But USC's defense still had to make plays down the stretch, and they made plays down the stretch. And I was very if there was one thing that surprised me the most, it was that. And Moss just doesn't seem to fit the mold of a Lincoln Riley quarterback, and he still showed out. So there was a little bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, I was saying Miller Moss, he has like a Baker Mayfield element to him where he's not like crazy athletic, decent arm and everything, but it's kind of more about the moxie and like his attitude and his leadership than anything else. Like that's kind of who he reminded me of almost was Baker. Obviously a very different looking guy, but
the thing I took away from him though is he feels so much more structured than any of the quarterbacks that Lincoln Riley's had, where it's his 1, 2, 3 get the ball out. Like he's a lot more within the system as to where Baker and Hurts, or whoever else, they kind of went and made plays, I guess, but it really worked.
Yeah.
Nope. I think that's well said. VFC, what about you? What really stood out to you week one?
Yeah, loved Miami, loved USC. It was a lot of fun. Cam Ward might be the most nonchalant quarterback of all time. It's crazy. People just start walking in the middle of he's just the most chill guy ever. He'll be 30 yards in the backfield, just kind of jogging around, chuck something out. Dude's crazy. But the biggest one to me was Georgia. I think a lot of us were on Georgia in that game in many different ways. So I think we expected that, but they played perfect. Quite literally perfect. I'm not sure what more they could have done. Georgia's very good. That's common sense, but to look like that in week one, and what does it say about Clemson as well? Maybe Dabo should hit the transfer portal. He'll probably never learn his lesson, and it's what's going to cost him his job. And then the other one to me, the craziest one, I think, was the Oregon game. I had a very, very good chance to win that game late in the game. And when they went for it on 4th and goal, they got the penalty to move it closer. But when they went for it, I was like, are you guys crazy? What is going on? Kick the field goal, play your defense. But, just a nuts game. Oregon, big time letdown. We'll see. Obviously, I think they're going to be okay the rest of the season. I don't think that's an indication of bad things to come, but that would have been the biggest upset in college football history. App State were only 33.5 point dogs when they beat Michigan, and Oregon were 49.5 point favorites over Idaho. So.
Yeah. And Michigan that year was, they were going to be supposed to be decent, but nothing like Oregon's supposed to be this year, which is like a potential Big Ten winner, or whatever. Right. So, Yeah, that was something I think, and it's weird. They're going to have to figure something out. I think Gabriel had like 50 pass attempts against Idaho. Like, I don't know can we not just line up and run the ball in Idaho? I mean,
yeah.
He had that in only 2 touchdown passes too. That's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like 40 for 49. That's insane. Like to not put up more points than what they did with that type of completion percentage and pass attempts is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
For sure. Pace, what about you? What really stood out to you week 1?
I think one of the crazier games that we haven't talked about, Texas Tech and Abilene Christian?
Abilene Christian, yep.
Yeah, 52-51. They had to get it done in overtime. That's insane. And then for me, like obviously being a Boise State guy, like Ashton Genty, I know Cam Ward, I think is now the favorite to win the Heisman, but like Genty, 20 carries, 267, 6 touchdowns, just gashed Georgia Southern. And I know from being like a Boise State guy and just like reading and listening to some of their clips, like, yeah, Georgia Southern scored 45 points. Like it doesn't look great for Boise State's defense here moving forward, but like I rewatched that game and a lot of like 3rd and longs where Boise State like pass interference or went after the quarterback too hard and like extended drives that way. So yeah, you still got to like stop some people, especially Georgia Southern. But like again, very impressive by Ashton Genty there. Like that just electric. And their freshman running back, the Gaines kid, 12 carries, 110 yards and a touchdown. He caught a touchdown too, I think. So a lot of weapons for Boise State, and I'm excited about them in the Mountain West there. So, and then NDSU Colorado too. That was an electric game to kick off there on Thursday. Pumbaa being on TV, that was so fun. And
that was great.
Yeah, that was awesome, and his mom there. So gives me a lot of hope for NDSU. I know OK State's good. They handled South Dakota State pretty easily. So it was good to see North Dakota State go into Colorado and really have a chance to win that ball game there. So great week 1, and great for USC. We were, I think, was it week 0 or week 1? Us guys were heavy on USC. USC is going to be back in the Big Ten, and Mary Moss looked really good. Even LSU, I think LSU is going to be really good too. Their quarterback, that was kind of an interesting game there too, without Caleb Williams and without Daniels there at LSU. Both those quarterbacks, I thought, threw some really good balls. So I think both of them are going to be pretty good. So a phenomenal week 1, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess for me personally, I was dialed in Saturday. I was up at 8:00 watching game day. I watched game day as I drove to my parents' house, and I sat in the chair in my living room from 11 a.m. till probably midnight, and I did not leave that chair. I was dialed in. I had 2 TVs going. So really a couple things kind of stood out for me. I'm going to kind of echo what VFC said to Georgia. This might be one of the better Georgia teams we've seen. They looked unbelievable. Unbelievable. Their defense looks solid. And, I talked down on Clemson last week. I get that. One thing that I'll get, even though Dabo Swinney's the biggest scumbag in college football, one thing I'll give him credit for, he knows how to coach defenses. Year in and year out, Clemson defenses are very, very good. And Georgia put up 34 points on them without their starting running back. Trevor Etienne didn't even play in that game. So if Etienne played in that game, imagine how much better that Georgia team would have been. And obviously that defense exposed Cade Klubnik. I can't believe anybody tried convincing me that Cade Klubnik was a good QB. They exposed him. So I think this might be an overreaction, but I don't know if there's many teams right now that are going to compete with Georgia for the national championship. It was one of the things that stood out. And VFC, the other one I kind of want your thoughts on too. Other than Jeremiah Smith, I personally wasn't that impressed with Ohio State last week, and I didn't think Will Howard looked that great. That running back room wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I know it was against Akron, and it was the opening week. I guess I would have expected a little more from this Ohio State team, but I'm curious on your thoughts about it.
I get it. Yeah, I would say I was honestly a little like first half. I was like, okay, like kind of what are we doing here? But we got to remember it's these guys' first time playing together, especially Howard, Judkins, Jeremiah Smith. Like all these guys are new. This offensive line is pretty new for the most part. I think Jeremiah Smith is more than what we expected, around the program. I think everybody knew, hey, this is the true wide receiver 1 here. Egbuka's very good. I was actually pretty impressed with Will Howard. I think in the beginning, he maybe had a couple throws on the first couple drives where I was like, hey, man, like settle down. But once he kind of calmed down, I think he was laying them in there. I felt good. I think Travion Henderson ran the ball exceptionally well. it seemed like the offensive line just forgot how to block every time Judkins got a handoff. I mean, he was dead at the line every single time. It was very weird. I think my biggest thing I'm nervous about this year is the offensive line. So we'll see. They definitely have to step it up. Howard was running for his life a couple times, but he's that guy. He can make those plays. But I think it'll all come together. These guys are just playing together for the first time, and they still scored 52 points. Shout out to the defense, but Akron held onto the ball for a really long time too, and they still scored 52 points. So I feel good about it all in all. But it was a little bit of a scary moment, let down for me in the beginning as well. So I understand that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, it's their first game together. You make a great point. You don't want to necessarily be playing your best ball right now in week one anyway. I think something like an offensive line, that's something that along the road they can get better every game as long as they stay healthy. Playing together is such a big thing for offensive linemen to know, like, okay, my guard over here, when they get this look, he's gonna be on this every time. I don't have to worry about him. I just worry about myself. In these early games, they're still trying to get a feel for, does he know that this is coming? Like, I'm kind of half watching what he's doing. And so that OU had that same problem, is why I brought that up. OU is more of a health thing, I think, than anything. They got to get a couple guys healthy, but yeah, all in all, you got a lot of season left to be playing your best ball. So
And I was going to say, that's exactly it. But I will say, Jeremiah Smith is going to go down as one of the better wide receivers this season. He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable, man. I think it's funny. We say it every year. Like, it kind of started with Olave in this crazy run. Like, yeah, McLaurin was good before that, but it kind of started with Olave. And then he was like, no, Garrett Wilson's better than me. And then Garrett Wilson was like, no, JSN's better than me. And then JSN was like, Marvin's better than me. And they're all kind of passing the torch over to Jeremiah Smith now. And he's supposed to be the guy. So I think he's kind of the next in line. I'm really excited about it. So I also just wanted to say as well, watch for James Peoples this year. I mean, this kid is a freshman, just running the ball. He scored a touchdown. I think people kind of see Henderson and Judkins and overlook Peoples at that third running back spot. This running back room is ridiculous. They're going to, if this O-line kind of gets it figured out, they're going to be able to run the ball on just about anybody. So I'm excited about it.
All right. Sounds good. Well, hey, that was great talking week one. I know we all were dialed into week one, but let's shift gears now. Let's go to week two. Let's do our week two betting snake draft. So again, if you haven't watched the show before, what we do is we do a 5-round betting snake draft. So there's 5 of us here. We're giving you 25 picks. So that's great stuff right there. And just like a normal snake draft, you have 5 categories you have to have. So everybody on the panel must choose a full game spread, a full game over under, a full game money line, a team total full game, and a first half play. First half play can be anything you want as long as it's first half. Really quick, want to go through the results of last week. Really good draft last week. Corey won the week with a 3-2 record plus 6.87 units. I was right behind him at 3-2 plus 5.84 units, and Pace was in third with a 2-3 minus 0.6 units. But Pace had 2 or 3 plays that one more score or something like that would have totally shifted for you. So
yeah, it was good. It was a good week. I will take that. If I'm in third and I don't even lose a unit, I think that's a good week for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So that's where we're at right now. Really good week. Excited to keep it going here. And yeah, let's get right to it. So we did the order again via the wheel before the draft started. I will be going first, followed by Pace. VFC will be third. PG will be fourth. Corey will be fifth, but Corey will have the back-to-back. And then after his pick, we'll go to PG, VFC, and we'll snake all the way back around. So, yeah, let's get right to it. The only thing I hate about going number one is it's cool because you have anything to work with. There's a lot of pressure with the number one overall pick because if you botch the number one overall pick, there's trouble on the horizon. So I'm going to go with the play I think I'm most confident with out of all of mine. I'm going to go with my first half play to start it off, and I'm going to take Boise State plus 10.5 against Oregon first half. I think we all had the same thoughts about Oregon week one. Boise State looked really good offensively. Oregon did not look very good offensively. Dylan Gabriel, like we said, he had an incredible game, but everyone else didn't really have that spark offensively. Meanwhile, if you listen to my guide, you'll know how big I was, like Pace has mentioned already, on Ashton Jeanty. He was unbelievable last week. with 267 yards, 6 TDs. I think Gene T is going to be running over any defense this year. I think Oregon will probably win the game overall, but I think Boise State's going to keep it close, specifically in the first half. So I'm going to take Boise State first half plus 10.5. That's at a minus 107.
Yeah, I like that. I like Boise full game too. Obviously, the thing I'm worried about is defense. Like defensively, if Oregon can figure it out, like watch out Boise. Like this could get ugly. But again, Oregon did not look impressive at all. So it should be good. I like Boise full game. So right there with you, Kyle.
Yeah, 19's a lot in that full game.
So much.
Well, 10.5, you got that good football number too.
Absolutely.
Right. I like
Absolutely.
it.
Yep, for sure. All right, sounds good. We'll go to Pace now with his first round play.
All right, so I am going to take Utah minus 14. I actually thought this number would be a little higher against Baylor. You have the Finn kid for Baylor who threw 2 picks against Tarleton State, Tarleton State, and takes on Utah here with a very, very solid secondary. So Cam Rising, one of the favorites in the Big 12. I think Utah can win this game by 14 or more points here, and that'll be my 5-unit play here in this first round draft, or in this first round.
Yeah, I was going to say I have a guy who followed Potato Gobbler a long time ago, and he always DMs me plays like a week in
I remember
advance.
this guy, dude. Yeah, you were telling us about this guy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he actually sent me Baylor on this, but it was when Baylor was like 17.5. So getting it all the way down where you got it, I think I like it. I don't think Baylor's that good, unfortunately. So I think you're in a good spot. It was just interesting. Yeah, he sent me that Baylor plus 17 or whatever. Like maybe it was during Saturday or something. It was crazy. So he's always on the ball.
That guy, man. Shout out to that guy.
Is he related to VFC? VFC sending us Sunday plays on Friday and Saturday plays on Thursday.
Hey, man. Just get them out of the way. You don't even have to get back on the book all weekend.
That's true.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Do you use some of his plays ever, PG?
This guy, yeah, I have before, and that's what I was going to add. Is he's pretty darn good. Like he really hits at a high clip, but I think it's one of those things where I think maybe he pays for a service or he's in one of those DM groups that, I don't know. It just seems like, because he said before, like, we are thinking this, and this. So I don't know if there's like a team of nerds or what, but.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I like the play too, Pace. That was one of the 2 plays I had written down. I really like that play a lot. I think Rising's going to tear up that Baylor defense. So I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I was just going to say his hair's even longer and slicker than it's ever been. So
that's right.
So greasy, yeah. And
greasy.
Being in Utah, I just don't think Baylor can go into Utah and keep it within this number. So
the crowd's going to be going crazy.
Yeah. Underrated home environment.
For sure.
So, all right, sounds good. We'll go to VFC now with his first round play.
Sweet, Kyle. Much like you, I'm also going with a first half play here. I'm looking at Auburn minus 6.5 in the first half against Cal. It's minus 118, so slight juice on it. Cal last week started really, really slow against UC Davis. I think they were up 14-13 at halftime. I know Auburn was playing Alabama A&M, but they were up 52-3 at halftime. They scored 28 points in the first quarter. I think Auburn's here to play this year. They went to Cal last year. I think they won that game, but they looked really sluggish. It was just not a good game. They didn't play great. I expect them to come out. They're at home this year at Jordan-Hare. I think the crowd will be absolutely rocking. Hugh Freeze has got this team fired up. This is their first real game of the season. I think they come out, punch Cal in the mouth. I think they're up by at least 7 at halftime, and we'll see what Cal can do in the second half to keep it close. I think it's like a 2-touchdown spread total right now, so we get the perfect split.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think Auburn has one of the more underrated wide receiver duos.
So
they got they got the number 5 overall recruit in last year in Cam Coleman. They got Keandre Lambert-Smith from Penn State. He was a dog. So I like Auburn a lot, and I think they're underrated, and I think they're gonna pound Cal. So I like that a lot.
For sure. And they've got guys coming next year too. Their receivers, Hugh Freeze is just recruiting receivers left, right, and center. So I think they'll be able to throw the ball over Cal and hopefully be up by a touchdown at half.
All right.
Good. You said 6.5, VFC?
6.5. Yep.
Love
Good
that.
number.
Great football number.
Great number. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got a
Go
lot of
Peyton
good
Thorne,
football
baby.
numbers. A lot of good football numbers thus far. So, all right, sounds good. PG, we'll go to you with your first round play.
All right, yeah, I'm going to use my 5-unit play here as well, and it's something we've already discussed, which makes me kind of nervous. But I think Boise plus 19. It's going to be a really. Here's the thing: Oregon's going to play better, but I also think Boise, especially offensively, is actually pretty darn good. They got a great running back stable. We've already talked about it kind of in the pre-show. Oregon's a tough place to play, no doubt about it. But I think after that performance last week, their fans are like a little more apprehensive than they might be normally. And Boise, this is another one of those matchups. It's sort of a regional matchup where those recruits from Boise deep down are mad at Oregon because they didn't get recruited to go to Oregon. Oregon didn't want them. So these are like Oregon guys that would have been Oregon guys had they been recruited, but they didn't. So there's always that extra motivation as well. 19, a pretty good football number as well. I could see this being a 17-point game or something, but I also could see Boise keeping this thing close and putting a real scare into them. So I think it's a lot of points, and I'll take it.
I like it, and I was going to say Pace talked about it too. I think they're going to keep it really close.
Oh yeah, that looking through the board, because you got to get a full game spread. That was the first one that just jumped out to me. I was like, yeah, that's
a large number, isn't it?
That looks fun.
Yeah, plus Boise has sweet.
This game can be so fun too. 61.5, like give me 30 going like deep into the fourth quarter. Like that's
fun. And if I know if it's a high scoring game and I know my team has a good run game, I'm so comfortable because then they can just kind of control the pace of the game a little bit. Oh, let's just run it, slow it down on this drive a little bit, give our defense a minute while you're just marching down the field. That's the idea. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's a big game too for Boise. Just playoff in general, like making it. I know it's not a Mount West game, but like, boom, Boise goes in there, knocks them off after Oregon doesn't look good in week one. Like, my Boise future to make the playoffs looking real nice if they can win this one.
Well, even if they keep it competitive, that'll be a talking point, especially if we expect Oregon to play better and better. If Boise played them close early in the season or even won, that'd be awesome.
I also want to call out that Idaho's 2 leading rushers averaged 5.4 yards per carry and 5 yards per carry against
behind an FCS offensive line.
So who knows what?
That's hard to fix. If your D-line can't stop the run, that's not like you just snap your fingers. You can commit more guys to the box and stuff like that, but there's also offensive counters to that too. So,
yep. I love every play so far. So, like, if we don't go undefeated, I mean, what are we doing?
That's right. All right, Corey, you got back-to-back. We'll start with your first round play worth 5 units.
All right, this is where Pace changes his mind because I am going to stick to the theme of football numbers, but I would be remiss if I didn't start, my snake draft off without a first half Big Ten under. So we are going Duke and Northwestern at the makeshift stadium off of the Lake, Michigan, under 17.5 first half.
Wow. That's a small number.
That is so tiny.
That is small.
Okay, you got to trust the system. You just got to trust it at some point. Dude, it's North. I mean, did you guys see Northwestern sail under last week?
Yes.
Miami Ohio was a good defense, though.
And I was going to ask Corey, is this on this practice field thing? Is it natural grass or is it a turf? Do you know?
I think it's turf. I think.
Yeah, it probably is if it's a practice field.
But I mean, this is Duke. They're probably going to play good defense. It's not like Northwestern.
Yes.
Like, Northwestern is a good offense.
Duke scored 10 points in the first half against Elon last week. Let's not act like they're this prolific offense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And the wind gusting off of the shore, like it's just no wind. I'm telling you, this is the theme of the season. Northwestern makeshift stadium home unders every which way, every single week. I'm not changing until the wheels fall off. Like I gave it as a shout out last week, and I was pissed that I didn't play it, and it just sailed under. So we're going.
Let's go.
And then, a good play.
What was your line for that, Corey?
Oh, minus 115.
Okay. 15? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And then my next play, PG was making some really good points about you just can't necessarily fix a bad run defense. Like it just doesn't, happen overnight. And when you get 240 rushing yards with your running backs in 1 week, I think you're going to be good at running the ball against a bad run defense. So I'm going to take Nebraska team total over 34.5.
Yeah.
There it is.
He talked about counters to not being able to stop the run.
Well, hey, the thing is, the thing I like about Nebraska this year is they're a pretty balanced offense too. I mean, we saw a lot of little Mahomes type rollout, little sidearm. Like he can, they can create Mahomie there too. Mahomie.
I mean, this is going to be his first real test, and you saw him coming out of the tunnel, and he was embracing the moment, and he was feeling the vibes. Like it just, I don't know. Your eyes don't lie to you. When you see it, you see it. To me, it's as simple as that. Colorado's defense is fucking trash still. Like they're just not good. And let Shiloh Sanders throw somebody into the wall 3 times. You're not going to get away with it in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen. I just think.
Will it be Big Ten refs as well?
No, I'm not sure, but I know for sure it's not Big 12.
Yeah, that could be big if it was Big Ten refs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it matters because if Shiloh Sanders throws somebody into the wall, you got 90,000 just raining booze on the refs. They're going to get the call right because they're going to be scared. Like I've seen it happen. It happened against Michigan 2 or 3 years ago, and all of a sudden they just fixed the calls out of nowhere. So you don't get away with that. I don't know. I think Colorado's going to sell to stop the run because they see what they saw in film last week, which was a really good running game. And I think Dillon is going to eat if they do that. I also think Nebraska has the size and athleticism on the edge to just run Travis Hunter straight into the dirt. And that's how you slow him down.
Oh yeah, he can't play every single play against Nebraska like he did in the first game. It's not sustainable, man.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You have boots on the ground for this game, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotta have a boots on the ground game. And you said 34.5, and at what line?
110.
Okay.
Football number.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm super nervous. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a great game.
Absolutely. Prime time too.
Oh, it's gonna be
tune in to NBC. I honestly think it's going to be the best environment. I think Texas-Michigan is going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the environment in Lincoln, just the timing of it, and it being a night game, it being Colorado, like I just think this is primetime football. It's when you hear the announcers say like certain teams are good for college football, it's going to be this type of environment that they're thinking of when they say that. So it's just going to be fun.
A lot of eyeballs on you. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say too, not to derail us by any means, says game day announced where they're going next week. I gotta think they would be. They're
going to Michigan, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Lame, but okay.
Top 10 matchup.
It is. I get it. I just wish I wish they would have gone to Lincoln because I think that would have been. Yeah,
cool. And I think that game, the Michigan game's on Fox too. So a lot of times they don't like going to the games that are not on their network. But
yep.
I get it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's go down to PG now with this second round play worth 4 units.
All right, I think someone's going to take this place. I feel like this is a time to take it. I'm going with the under in the Iowa State-Iowa game. We used to call it El Assico when I was coming up. It's going to be a nice day. I don't think weather's going to play a role here, but it's just such a rivalry game. I am a little worried because I think Iowa has somewhat figured it out on offense, but now you're going against a little stiffer competition. Obviously, rivalry games are really weird. It's the under is 35.5, so it's not a lot of points. Hopefully, it's a decent football number for us. We'll see. But I believe the under, this is almost like a service academy type vibe. So I just take it here because I think someone else might take it. But yeah, the under
in Cy-Hawk game is almost always like kind of like the over in the Red River game. The under in the Cy-Hawk game is almost always the move.
Yeah.
So I like it. I don't know who you thought was going to take because I certainly ain't touching that game.
I don't know. Corey seems like a trends guy. He might have taken it. I don't know.
I absolutely had that up on my board.
Okay. There you go.
No, these two teams don't like each other, and the scoring is all except 1 year they blew them out, but otherwise the scoring's always low in this game.
Just both teams trust their punters and their defense, so they're not going to take any big risks for the most part. We'll see. It's a low number for sure.
All right. Sounds good. We will move on now to VFC with his second round play.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my spread here. I'm taking USF plus 31 against Bama. I think this USF team is really, really good, honestly. I think they're very talented. They're certainly not Western Kentucky. They saw Western Kentucky with TJ Finley. They've seen TJ Finley two other times. I just don't think they're going to have that here. I think all offseason, Bama was getting up for week one. DeBoer's in their ears. You know, everybody thinks we're going to suck. Everybody thinks we're going to fall off. Let's prove them wrong. We're the same Bama we've always been. So I think they come out week one, absolutely smoke Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is really bad this year. USF is not. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to struggle a little bit in the beginning. Maybe, you know, just kind of slow them down. They're not going to be in that same groove. And I think USF sticks in this game. I think they could easily only lose by 3 touchdowns. So
Backdoor.
Yeah, but I think there's something to be said here. I think if you can get it at 31.5, do it. You know, just 31, that's a football number. So just try to get in there, and I really think they're going to cover this game. I love this line.
What was it 2 years ago that they really struggled with USF, or was that last year?
Last year.
It was last year, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of a
they couldn't decide last year between Milroe and Buckner.
That's right. That was the game where they switched back.
Too? It
wasn't great weather, if I remember right.
I remember it being weird. I don't know, but yeah. So there's a chance Bama, you know, is pissed off about that game last year, but I really don't think they will be.
It's too early in the season, and they probably don't even remember that.
Yeah. I think their like Super Bowl, their small team Super Bowl was last week. Really, DeBoer in their ears. We got to still be Bama. We still got to be Bama. I think it's going to be hard to get them up 2 weeks in a row for a school like South Florida, Western Kentucky. They have to go to Wisconsin next week. I think that's probably where a lot of their prep is going. I think they're going to overlook a really good South Florida team just a little bit.
That's fair analysis. I didn't have that on my board, but I like it.
You said 31 VFC?
Yeah, 31. Hopefully you can get it at 31.5, but I mean, I would buy the half. But.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go to Pace now with his second round play.
All right. I'm going to take a first half play here. I'm going to take Ole Miss. I love this number. Minus 27 in the first half against Middle Tennessee State. Jordan Potts from Tennessee Tech completed 71% of his passes against Middle Tennessee State last year. If you don't think Jackson Dart can do that, you're crazy. So I remember last year, 2023, Ole Miss like dominated Mercer to open the season. And then they played Tulane, where they had like their 5 first half drives were like punt, field goal. Again, Tulane's dang good. They were dang good last year. Middle Tennessee State, not Tulane. So I think minus 27 in the first half, they can score 4 touchdowns and, you know, hold Middle Tennessee State to 0, hopefully. And we can cash this one. So when I saw that kid from Tennessee Tech completed 71% of his passes against Middle Tennessee State, I thought that was a perfect matchup for Jackson Dart. So I'm going to take that minus 27 there in the first half.
Not only that angle, but you know they're going to try to feed Dart a Heisman, and this is a great spot just for stats, just for numbers. Yep. Nobody's going to pull up this tape and just be like, "Whoa!" But they are going to say, "Dang, he had 6 touchdowns that game." Like what the you know
in the first half too.
In the first half,
in the first half, yeah. Well, I mean, look at what he did in the first game. So like, I just think we see that again here. So
love this.
What'd you get for a line on that there, Pace?
Minus 110.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I like it. I don't know how to describe it, Pace. That's just like a pace play. I don't know really if that makes sense to you, but it's just like a play I can see you playing.
Ole Miss, baby. I love Jackson Dart too. So I think I got a Heisman ticket on him. So I'm just going to keep riding these futures that I got. So.
All right. Sounds good. Well, all right. I got back-to-back here. I'm going to start with my spread for my 4-unit play. I'm going to take Texas State -2 against UTSA. If you listen to my college football preview on Gambling Feud, you know I am big on Texas State. I think they're going to win the Sun Belt this year. You know, they went into the transfer portal. They got Sun Belt Player of the Year, Jordan McLeod. He was very, very solid in his opening game. They have their running back Ishmaeli Mahdi, who had 1,500 yards last season. He rushed for 156 yards. And meanwhile, UTSA, they played a really bad team in Kennesaw State and dang near lost. So I think they're not as good as many people think they are. And I think Texas State can definitely win by a field goal here. So I like Texas State -2.
Love it.
Yep,
I love Texas State. Yep.
At home, it's I don't know if it's like an official rivalry, but surely all these guys have played against each other in high school. They're all going to be Texas high school recruits. So it's got to be a little bit of a rivalry being in the same conference and everything. I don't know if it's like a named rivalry or anything, but yeah, that'll be intense.
Yep, for sure. Oh, man. Now I got to decide if I want to do my money line or my total. I think my money line's not going to get back to me. It's a heavy underdog, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take NC State on the money line against Tennessee at a +215. I know what you're probably thinking. NC State damn near lost to an FCS team last week. I get that. I understand it. But what better way to bounce back than to go into Neyland Stadium and absolutely rock? Grayson McCall, he didn't look very good at first. He ended up passing for over 300 yards and 3 TDs. The running back had over 120 yards. This is a talented team. It was my preseason team to win the ACC. And I think they're +7.5 on the spread. And I think they're going to not only cover that, but I think they're going to win outright too. So I'm actually going to take an upset here. Might be a spoiler for later in the show. Who knows? But I'm going to take NC State on the money line against Tennessee.
Even better than that, Kyle. They're actually at home. They're in North Carolina. So even better.
I did not know that. I thought it was in
even
Neyland.
better. No, but even better. I'm with you. You got a veteran. You're selling high on Tennessee. You're buying low on NC State. The sharp bettors would probably say, and there's something to this. Every Joe Blow gambler is going to be like, Tennessee's better. Let's just bet them. It's only a touch. You're zigging while they're zagging, Kyle. You're ahead of the curve, I think, on this. I don't hate it at all. And even better because they're at home. So
I think, too, you're going to look at the public's going to be like, NC State looked terrible against FCS school. Like, how is Tennessee going to lose to this team?
Huge fade.
But again, you look at, we talked about it too, teams, all this turnover, new faces in new places, like Grayson McCall, like it was his first game with NC State. Dude's really, really good. So it's just going to take some time. So that's a great play, Kyle.
Huge fade the public play. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially on the money line, you're talking 90-10 probably on the money line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say I liked this play when I thought it was at Neyland. I like it even more now that it's at NC State.
You should. They actually have a pretty damn good little crowd there. Like, you guys remember the iconic when they were beating Florida State and the big boy was on the pole swinging his shirt around? They get after it a little bit, man. It's a pretty good little crowd. It's not a very big stadium by any means, but they get after it.
All right. Sounds good. We're in the third round now, so all plays are worth 3 units. So Pace, we'll go to you with your 3-unit play.
All right, I'll follow Kyle here. Similar bet. I'm going to take Mississippi State money line +220 against Arizona State. Arizona State just laid the wood to Wyoming there. I think they're feeling good about themselves. But you look at Mississippi State here. Levy's a great offensive-minded coach, and they got a D coordinator who's got some ties to Nick Saban. So I just think that this is, I'm not saying Arizona State's overlooking Mississippi State. I just think there's a lot of pressure on Arizona State to get their first ever win against an SEC team. So Mississippi State, no Joe Blow. I'm going to take them +220 here for 3 units.
I like it.
If you're one of those ones that really believes in like players from this conference are typically better from players from, this is a good spot for you. Mm-hmm. I think I don't hate Jeff Levy. I'll say that as an OU fan. He was our offensive coordinator last year. A lot of people weren't big fans of his as far as his play calling and stuff. But I mean, in their first game, they seemed to have it figured out. I don't want to say they got rid of what was the guy's name? Will Rogers? Was that his name? The quarterback they've had the last couple of years? Yep. I just never – the ceiling was just like he was what he was. He's just this guy. And so I'm with you. I like it. It's a good spot.
Okay, so we got back-to-back heavy underdogs in the money line in the third round. So I like that. I like that a lot. Best of luck to you, Pace. We'll see how that turns out.
Blake Shapen, baby. Blake Shapen. Let's go.
There we go. VFC, we'll go to you with your third round play.
Awesome. I'm also going to take an underdog here. I can't I do understand why they're underdogs, but I'm taking Syracuse on the money line. Better Edge has them at plus 147. I think Georgia Tech's win over Florida State looks a whole heck of a lot worse after yesterday than it did before yesterday. But not only that, I really think Syracuse is good. McCord put up Heisman numbers last week against the OU Bobcats. But but no, I legitimately think Syracuse is a very good team. I think they're going to be competitive in the ACC. I don't think they're going to win it, but I do think they're going to be competitive, and I think it starts here. Georgia Tech has a ranking next to their name now, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
A lot of
23.
people are probably going to see this and be like, Georgia Tech playing Syracuse, they're ranked. Of course they should be favored. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think these are both two very solid teams. I just think Syracuse is a little bit better, and they're at home. You're getting them as home underdogs. I love Syracuse in this spot.
Home underdogs, weird place to play, 11 a.m. Think about Georgia Tech's travel. Ireland, back to Georgia, all the way up to New York, upstate New York. So big travel there too, early in the season, still getting used to being on the plane and doing that thing. They've been, traveling all over. So yeah, and you're right. That's going to be a big public fade as well because one team has a number next to their name and the other one doesn't. Even though it's preseason, people still love those numbers. So
Yep. Exactly.
And McCord actually looked pretty solid in week one.
Yeah. He looked great. So shout out Kyle McCord.
And King really hasn't looked great, right? Stats wise. I don't think he's got too good of stats.
No, not yet.
No, they just ran the ball against Florida State, and then I didn't really see much of the second game.
I didn't watch anything.
I think he's only thrown 2 touchdowns, I think.
Yeah, he hasn't been great now that you mention it.
Yeah, they played Georgia State, and he threw 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and they ran all over him. So,
All right. Sounds good. PG, we'll go to you with your third round play.
Okay, well, I'm going to do my first half play here. I'm going over 31 in the Arkansas-Oklahoma State first half. This is in Stillwater. Arkansas coming off scoring 70 points. Oklahoma State played South Dakota. Offensively looked pretty good. Defensively, they allowed a lot of points to South Dakota. And South Dakota State, right? Sorry. South Dakota State had a lot of opportunities as well to score more than they did. They had a couple drop passes where they just kind of leaked a tight end up the middle of the field kind of thing and dropped a pass or just missed a guy. And they still scored a lot of points. Arkansas, a lot of team speed, and it's on a turf. Stillwater's low-key a fast turf. So over 31, minus 110, I think, on that first half over. I would take the full game over, too. Just looking at the numbers, this is another one where it's bet pretty close to 50-50, but there's way more money on the over than the under. That's usually a good sign, but I think it's going to be a blast of a game, 11 a.m. That'll be one you want to have in your quad box for sure because it's going to be fast.
A lot of points. Yeah, I like that. And former Boise State quarterback Taylon Green starting for Arkansas, too.
Yep.
Looks good.
Yeah, they
played trash team. Yeah, but
true.
Oh, the team they played was barely. I mean, I guess they're technically D1, but FCS, whatever. But if you saw their jerseys, I should have live bet it when I saw the jerseys. They were playing Arkansas Pine Bluff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The Arkansas Pine Bluff jerseys look like something you could buy at a Goodwill right now. They were just like, it just had like big block letters and then their number in white and like just black jerseys. It was the ugliest looking thing you've ever seen. So, but yeah, that over is gonna be fun.
I like it.
What 31 you say?
31 is what I got it at minus 110. It's first half over.
All right. Sounds good. Corey, you got back-to-back. Now we'll start with your third round play. We're 3 units.
Well, I was going to go money line and spread, and then Potato just had to do that. So I'm on that full game over. That was going to be my 1 unit play, but I love it for all those reasons. I watched the highlights on that Arkansas. I watched a little bit of it too. Once I got I paid for the YouTube TV and got the 4 games on at once. And
it's worth it.
It's so nice.
It's beautiful. But yeah, I just think Arkansas, they recruited a lot of team speed. They're kind of going with a different sort of. I mean, it's Paterno. Wait, what's his name? Yeah.
Patina.
Anyway, there's just a lot more speed on the field. Oklahoma State's going to get their points. And like I said, Stillwater's sneaky fast turf. Not a lot of people think about it because it's not in a dome, but it's some short turf out there in Stillwater.
Yep. And I mean, Oklahoma State gave up 20 points to South Dakota State. So it's not.
And
like
it could have been more.
More.
They left some points out there for sure. If you go back and watch that game.
Yeah, this game just screams points. This was the first one that I was like, oh, this is a good offensive matchup. It's a 3. I mean, it could be way worse than that number.
Oklahoma State loves to go fast. Even when they're running the ball well, they still like, all right, get lined up. We're just going to throw something out to the, kind of a screen. Just go, go, go. They still kind of run that style of offense, even with the new communications and everything. So that's good for an over as well. Pace of play.
Yep. And what was that what was that number at?
63 minus 112.
Yeah. All right. PG, one of these days we need your college football fast turf rankings.
Yeah. I need to do it. It'll actually be kind of just like a stadium thing but there is like there are alternates because I realized a lot of times when they play in Allegiant Stadium and it's an NFL game, they actually wheel in real grass. But when it's a college game, it's actually turf. And that college turf they play on is pretty damn fast, even though we got kind of screwed the other night. But Allegiant Stadium up there for sure.
All right. Sounds good. Corey, your 4th round play now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a spread. I just really like this number. Iowa State looked so bad last week.
Don't you do it, you scumbag.
Okay, I get to because I already said what I was going to do with this round until Potato did his thing. So obviously we know the money line I'm going to play too. I really think that they win. They win by at least a field goal. They do. Their offense looked better. Their defense looks like their defense. Iowa State looked like trash. It's at Kinnick. That's a 3-point win.
Okay, I can't tell if you're mushing. That's the only reason I called you a scumbag. So.
No, because I wouldn't be playing my money line play on Iowa too at minus 130 if I was trying to mush it.
That's fair.
He believes.
Like I'm betting this, and I want to win money.
Yeah, I think my analysis, because I'm on the under for a pretty big chunk, is I think Iowa ends up being the better team and controlling it for the most part. I just hope their offense isn't too much better. I need them to kind of go slow when they're just actually doing the thing. Passing the ball a little bit, running it well like they always do. So I like it.
All right. Nope. I appreciate it, but I just want to make sure you weren't doing scumbag things. So
no. If I'm making a play on something, it's because I want to win money. I don't make enough money to lose money just for fun, just to watch Iowa lose.
Fair.
Like I might bet Iowa and then root for Iowa State just because it's me, but I'm trying to win money. I think they win by 3.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's see. We go to PG now with this 4th round play.
That's right. I'm going with my team total play here, and we're going to a game that I think is going to be sneaky fun. Pac-12 after dark, Pac-2 after dark, late night game. This is Texas Tech at Washington State. I'm going Washington State team total over 33.5. It's minus 130. I would try to find 34 and just, get better juice, but that's the line I found. Team total over 33.5. Texas Tech last week gave up 51 to Abilene Christian. Probably could have, should have, would have lost that game, but didn't. Washington State, even though I was just trash talking Will Rogers, they looked pretty good offensively last week. I don't even think that they just go in there and beat the crap out of Texas Tech. I think it's a close game, but I think it's just a super high scoring game. I'm going to take the home team, even though I don't love the quarterback as much as I wish I did, but he's fine, good enough to score. All we got to get's what is that? 5 touchdowns in a full game. So I think we can do that against Texas Tech. So Washington State team total over 33.5.
I like it.
We'll see. It is kind of there's going to be a lot of people on not only that, but the over, and it's going to be a pretty publicly bet game, but it's going to be late. I want to have a reason to be up, kind of locked into a kind of a wacky game, because it's not, neither of these teams are making the playoff. It's not a marquee game by any means, but it should be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with Washington State going forward now that the Mountain West said they're not going to schedule them after this year, like have like a routine schedule with them. So
I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
That'll be interesting, but no, I like it. Okay, VFC, we'll go to you now.
I'm also going to go with my team total over on this one here. Kind of a kind of a sketchy one, but I'm going to go with Michigan State's team total over 16.5. It's minus 125 on DraftKings. I think, UConn scored 7 against Maryland last week. I think Maryland is a good team. This is at Maryland. But I think Michigan State will be able to run the ball a lot on Maryland. I really do. And there is, and maybe this will come back to haunt me, but there is no way that Aiden Childs plays worse than he did against FAU last week. It's just almost statistically impossible without getting pulled by the second or third quarter. The dude looked awful, and Michigan State looked awful offensively. I think they've got a lot to work on. Again, we go back, we talked about, first time all playing together. This was like very much the first time of all playing together for these guys, first time coaching together here at Michigan State. So I think a lot went wrong against FAU, and I expect it to go slightly better against Maryland. I'm not sure they win this game, but I do expect them to score 17 points.
I like it.
Yep, me too. I think if Aiden Childs can get it figured out, I think Michigan State could be sneaky. I really
they play Ohio State week 4, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Sounds good. Pace, will go to you now.
All right. I'm actually surprised it's still on the board considering we got 2 OU fans in the house tonight. But I'm going to take OU team total over 40.5 at plus money, plus 105. I know OU's got some injuries issues, but Houston and PG mentioned this too in our chat. Like, they're just real bad. And just 2 programs in the complete opposite direction. Not saying that Houston, won't be good in a few years, but just like in a complete opposite direction. Houston gave up 27 points to UNLV. UNLV had 113 yards passing. Like, OU should dominate this game. They should score 50 plus, and this should be an easy win. So, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, kind of mad it in, take this as my 5-unit one, but, I still love it at 2 units. So give me it 40.5 and plus 105. So Houston is just, I know we mentioned it last week too, that their head coach said, week 2, week 3, week 4 is when they'll finally start to figure out the depth chart. Like that, again, I will bet against that all day long. If you don't have your depth chart figured out and you're already week 2 of the season, nothing's going to go right for you. So give me OU team total.
I love it. Just if people knew more about Houston, I mean, this would be being talked about way more. The vibes something's not right down there. I don't know what it is. It's been weird since their last coach was there, and I don't know. It's something ain't right. Even OU's offensive line will be better. They're getting at least one guy back, and even if it's worse or the same, like you said, there's a pretty big talent gap, and they should just have the ball. They're going to try to run the score up, let the subs get in. They got a good full game or kind of full quarter from the second string last time. So I'm going to try to do that again, let the young guys get some experience. So at home, friendly confines, night game, excuse me. So
yep.
I like it. I'll probably be on it.
All right. Houston was 2 of 16 on third down. If that happens again against Oklahoma, even if it's a little better, like Oklahoma, how do you not score so many points? I just don't get it. So
OU's defense looked great, by the way, too. That was what was actually good for them, is that defense just they got so many turnovers here. They had 6 takeaways total. So if they end up with short fields against Houston when Houston's already tired, it's going to be easy money.
I got to look up the record for turnovers in a game because allowed, or forced, I should say, because OU's defense might hit it. So.
I like it. All right. To me now, I'm going to go with a total here, and I'm going to take Penn State Bowling Green over 48.5. Both of these teams turned some heads last week. Penn State had a solid win over West Virginia. Bowling Green scored a whopping 41 points against Fordham. I like these 2 teams a lot here. I know people that never fairly split on him. Drew Allard did show some good moments last week. It'll be interesting to see what he does against Bowling Green. Again, solid VFC. Just want to throw that out there for you. But I will say though, on the Bowling Green side of it, I really like their quarterback Connor Bazelak. I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in college football. Their running back Terrion Stewart had 3 touchdowns last game. Their top 2 wide receivers are transfers from Power 4 schools. So I think this is a fairly talented offense. And I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think Penn State will score a lot of points with them. So I really like that total being in the 40s. I think they could score well in the 50s. So I'm going to take Penn State Bowling Green over 48.5.
This Basilak kid, was he the one that was at Missouri?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean that's not bad.
I think he was somewhere before that too.
I'm not sure. Yeah, his name's just so familiar. I knew I had seen some games of him.
Yeah, he was
a veteran quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was at Missouri before that. He might have been somewhere else.
I mean, he's been in school since early 2018. Indiana, 2021. He was 22 with Indiana. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. So, yeah. So I'm going to do that for my total. For my team total here, I bet you guys are expecting Kent State. Two problems. They're playing an FCS school, so there's no line available. And last time they played an FCS school, they scored 40. So I wasn't gonna bet that. So I'm not doing Kent State team total under. Maybe next week I'll do that. I'm actually gonna take Liberty team total over 40.5 against New Mexico State. I can get that at a -120. I cannot emphasize to you enough that Liberty is going to absolutely roll in Conference USA. They are going to absolutely beat every team by 14 touchdowns. Caden Salter, their quarterback, last game he had 242 yards passing, 2 rushing touchdowns. He rushed for 50 yards. The running back Quentin Cooley had 110 rushing yards and a touchdown. And New Mexico State gave up 16 points to Southeast Missouri last week. Liberty absolutely can score about 41 or more points against these guys. I'm fairly confident in that. And I don't think it's this hot of a take. I'm not the smartest of guys. I think you guys know that. I can be pretty dumb at times. But I don't think it's a dumb take to say that Liberty has a better offense than Southeast Missouri. I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. So Liberty team total over 40.5 at a -120.
Well, that's a good pick. There's another angle too, Kyle. You got to remember they're trying to build a resume to be the at-large bid for the playoff. They've got an easy schedule. They know that. So the next step to that is just beat everybody by 100 points. Mm-hmm. So they're going to leave starters in longer than anybody in the country. We saw them do it kind of some last year as well. So I don't know much about this particular Liberty team, but I know a lot of people picked them to make the playoff at them or Boise. So they're definitely going to try to run the score up when they get the opportunity. So that could be a great angle to bet this game on.
New Mexico State was losing to Southeast Missouri 13-10 in the third quarter. So,
yeah. So, nope, I like it. No, the Kent State team total unders are not going anywhere. There was just no line, and I didn't want to bet them against an FCS school. So, but that might make an appearance. But, all right, Pace, looks like you need a full game total.
That is correct. And, it's the biggest game of the week, right? Texas, Michigan. So I floated back and forth. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over. It's dropped so much. It's dropped 6 points, opened up at 40.5. Now it's at 42.5. I'm going to take the over. I hate betting on teams that, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one, right? So with Michigan. But, again, I just think Texas is really going to play into that. And Michigan's just going to go over the top. And boom, now we have some points. So, I like this over. It's dropped 6 points. I think it could even potentially drop to 40 maybe. It is only Tuesday when we're recording. So give me the over 42.5 and let's score some points here. I mean, even if it's, 28-20, that's still easy gets me it. So I'm going to take the over here. And I'll just throw in this too because I'm not going to talk about it, I'll have it on my card for Saturday, but not a lock or an upset. But I like Michigan too. I looked at this game. I was like, there's no way Michigan loses or wins this game. Zero chance. Texas is going to go in there, blow the doors off them. And that automatically told me take Michigan. So I'm going to take Michigan on this as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is this will be a big fade the public play if you're on Michigan. We saw the 2 quarterback system didn't look great. My thing is though, I want to see what Texas looks like in the trenches, especially on defense. Lost 2 All-American type NFL guys now that are probably both of them are going to be starting, and we'll see what they got in the trenches. I don't think they're reloaded quite the way everyone thinks they will. The other angle of this is if Texas comes out and looks great, they may get close to this total by themselves. You have multiple angles to hit this on, and I'm interested to see what Texas looks like if they have to stack the box. Then Orgy, or what's the other quarterback's name? One of them can hit a shot over the top, surely, if it's one-on-one coverage. So we'll have to see what the Michigan wide receivers have, but there's a couple angles you could still hit this, even if, it's a blowout one way or the other, or it's not that high of a total. Is I guess where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I think three things happen. I think this either looks like Georgia Clemson in the first half, so very low scoring. I also think that this could be a blowout by Texas, but I also think Michigan could win, and if they're going to win, they're going to have to score some points. So 2 out of 3 favor the over in that. I'll take the over. So.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, it's not a lot of times I like thinking about games when it comes to totals. I like thinking about games and, what do I think is going to happen before looking at the line. And really, when I thought about this game, the most realistic outcome to me was low 50s. I was like, I really think these teams can get us to low 50s. Pace, I agree. All those outcomes are possible. I really think this game can get us to low 50s. Let's not act like Michigan's defense looked stellar against Fresno State either. Texas's did, but it's against Colorado State. I do think that this game can have a lot of points. When I saw the line, I was very, very surprised. It did scare me off of it a little bit, I'll be honest. But I agree, Pace. At what point has it dropped too much? And it's going to flip the other way to where, those early bettors are going to hit the under, but maybe the late bettors grab the over. So who knows? Very interesting game.
I like it. Shout out to Texas. I mean, Colorado State's offensively, they got some NFL guys. So
especially. So.
Absolutely. Defensively, Texas, they look really, really solid. But again, it's dropped so much. I'm like, I have to take this over.
So that'll be there'll be a couple angles on this game where you can really fade the public if that's your thing. This is going to be one of those heavily, heavily bet games. Everybody thinks the obvious, stuff. So big fade the public week here.
Absolutely. And so the Michigan fans that watch this, don't get mad at us. Davis Warren is the quarterback you're thinking of.
The backup or the guy they're flipping with.
Yeah, him and Orgy are flipping. Yeah.
I just know Orgy because it's a hilarious last name to have.
We know why you remember it, PG.
I'm surprised Pace didn't make a comment, to be honest.
I know.
Hey, this is a PG show. PG's on it. We got to keep it PG.
That's fair. VFC, looks like you need a full game total.
I do. It's a game we haven't talked about at all yet today. It's a really, really intriguing game. It's Illinois and Kansas. I'm taking the under 55.5. I do think both of these teams have very good offenses, but I think Illinois and Kansas are both going to lean on the run heavily in this game. I think Kansas will want to play fast. It's a night game at Illinois. I think Illinois will really try to slow it down. It's possible that they end up just running all over each other, but at the end of the day, I think both of these teams can run the ball, will run the ball. It's going to be a tough environment for Kansas to come in. Really, I know the crowd at Illinois isn't crazy, but a nighttime environment in the Big Ten, just going to be a little bit different. So I'm taking the under 55.5. I think it's going to be really close game, and I think it'll be hopefully low scoring.
Yeah, Kansas is a good offense, like you mentioned, but a lot of what they do is up the middle of the field. The clock's running, little quick handoffs or little option plays. The clock's running a lot. And all you need is for both these offenses just to be pretty good. A couple first downs and then a punt. A couple first downs and then a punt. That's really how unders are made. If you're just going punt, something bad could happen pretty easy. But getting, a little bit here and there, which both teams should have no problem doing. Like you said, Illinois wants to establish that run game with Burt down there. So, yeah, that'll be a fun one. I think Kansas fans will travel. That'll be a pretty full stadium. Like, it won't be just an insane environment, but the Kansas fans, now that they're decent, like, they want to see their football team be decent. And
it's
Illinois,
game, really.
Hope for the season. So
Dude,
That's a game in Champaign.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's
sorry.
Illinois
Friday night too, isn't it?
5-point favorites.
I think so.
Yeah. And it's a Friday night game, I believe it. Like,
I thought it was on Saturday. I could be wrong. I think
it's on Saturday. It's on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Yep.
No, that's a sneaky fun game. And I think both of those defenses lend to bend don't break mentalities.
Exactly. Yeah, it's 6 p.m. Champaign, Illinois.
Like, I know Illinois is going to run his own defense, bend don't break, try to get a turnover in the red zone. Kansas is going to do the same thing against a team that wants to run it. So I like it.
I'm seeing 55.5 VFC. I don't know if you said 55 or 55.5, but
55.5 is what
yeah.
Should be good.
All right. Very good. PG, you need a money line, it looks like.
Okay, so we've talked about this game. It's a pretty close spread. Kyle's actually on this same thing, but I'm on Texas State money line -110 at home. A little bit of a rivalry game. San Marcos, Texas is going to be bumping. I mean, the Bobcats, they've dumped a lot of money into this program, so we'll see if it's paid off. I think you're getting a lot of respect for UTSA just because of kind of what they've done in the past couple of years. It looks like a very good program, but it's a new year, new team. And I think this will be Texas State trying to get one back on what's going to be a rival going forward. So I'll go Texas State Bobcats money line.
Like it.
The JMU Bobcats, right, Kyle?
That's right. Yep. With all the James Madison people that came over with McLeod. But
yeah, these teams played last year when UTSA was the much better team. This was at San Antonio, and UTSA won by 7. So this will be a bit of a revenge spot. So back at home, San Marcos.
And you said a -120 you got that at?
-110 is what I got.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
All right. Nope, I like that play. Obviously, like I said, I'm on the spread, but I like them obviously straight up too. So I like it. Okay, and to round out the snake draft, Corey needs a money line.
I mean, it's Iowa. They're going to beat Iowa State.
Yeah.
I just know they're going to beat Iowa State.
Seems like they always do.
Like, dude, it's honestly, with how good Iowa looked last week and how bad Iowa State looked this week, I'm surprised it's at 2.5.
Just being a rivalry game, I think,
Yeah.
College rivalries.
Yeah. Even if they don't win by 3, they're winning the game. I don't know. Iowa State looked bad. I just keep falling back on that.
Yeah, they did. And Iowa, for the first half, looked awful. But in the second half, they looked like Oklahoma on offense.
Started imposing their will a little bit.
They get, what's his name, Caleb Brown? Or Caleb Johnson, whatever.
Caleb Brown, yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he comes back next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have the freshman receiver that gets the 3 touchdowns. Their best receiver comes back. You saw the change when Williams got put in at running back, and that's going to be going against Iowa State. And again, Iowa State looked bad.
What's the name for the Iowa State quarterback? It's like
McNamara.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Iowa State. Sorry, Rocco Becht.
Becht, yeah. I was thinking.
Becht, yeah.
I knew Rocco, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
McNamara is the Iowa State guy or Iowa guy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I messed you up from the beginning. That's my bad.
And the reason why I really like this money line because it's only -130. Like I'm not having to pay that much extra.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. No. Yeah. I think that's obviously I like that play, so we'll see how it works out for you. But all right, gents. Well, let me go through the teams here really quick. If we have any honorable mentions, we'll throw it out there, and then we'll round out with upsets and locks. All right, Kyle's team, Boise State first half +10.5 at a -107. Texas State -2. NC State money line at a +215. Penn State Bowling Green over 48.5. Liberty team total over 40.5 at a -125. Pace, Utah -14. Ole Miss first half -27 at a -110. Mississippi State money line at a +220. Oklahoma team total over 40.5 at a +105. And Texas Michigan over 42.5. VFC Auburn first half -6.5 at a -118. USF +31. Syracuse money line +147. Michigan State team total over 16.5 at a -115. Illinois Kansas under 55.5. PG Boise State +19. Iowa State Iowa under 35.5. Excuse me. Arkansas Oklahoma State first half over 31 at a -110. Washington State team total over 33.5 at a -130. And Texas State money line at a -110. And Corey, Duke Northwestern first half under 17.5 at a -115. Nebraska team total over 34.5 at a -110. Arkansas Oklahoma State full game over 63. Iowa -2.5 and Iowa money line at a -130. So honorable mentions, I had a couple here that I was going to take. VFC took Syracuse on the money line. I like Syracuse against the spread too, +3. I think they can, if they don't win, I think they can maybe they lose by a game-winning field goal, lose by 1 or 2. I like that. And then Rutgers and Akron, I like over 39.5 because Rutgers just loves to run up the score. I saw that last week. I lost under because of them. So that was another game I had written down too, was Akron and Rutgers over 39.5. Pace, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I like Marshall plus 20.5 against Virginia Tech. I don't hate that one as an honorable mention. And then I like the ECU Old Dominion under 55.5. Old Dominion, they got sneaky decent defense. ECU's quarterback threw 4 touchdowns in that first game, but he also threw 3 picks. So sneaky defense for ODU. That's kind of a tongue twister there. And I'm going to take the under 55.5 on that. So those are my 2 honorable mentions.
Okay, very good. VFC, any honorable mentions?
I actually do not have anything. I feel like we talked about literally every single game that I was looking at, so nothing for me.
Yeah,
right,
same's here.
Okay, Corey?
Yeah, I think Arkansas money line would be fun to play. I do like that upset. I don't know. I just think that's going to be a fun game, and I think they can outlast them.
There will be a lot of Arkansas fans there. I'll just put it that way. That's not a very far drive. There's a little bit of hype this year. They're trying to save their coach's job. It could happen.
And then I got one more. It's a weird one. It's K-State second half minus 5.5 against Tulane.
That's just so weird, dude.
That's super weird. I don't think I've ever taken a second half line.
Absolutely not. I always see them, but
I think Kansas State's a better second half team, and if it's close in the first half, they'll pull away in the second half.
Yeah, I could see that. More physical team.
Yeah, their style of football. They pull away in the fourth quarter.
So when they do dumb question, when they do second half spreads, do they take the totals for both teams in the second half and they do a spread based off that?
Exactly. So your final wouldn't matter. It's just that second half score or whatever it is. So if it's 2 out of hand, it's
0.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never played a second half play, so I genuinely did not know.
Yeah.
Interesting though.
I think I've done it live before, but never like pregame.
I think Tulane's going to play tough, but I think Kansas State outlasts them.
No, that's a fair play.
Yep, respectable.
Yeah, that's for sure a fair play. Like I said, I've never done that before. So
me neither. I looked up their first half spread, and then I was like, wait, I think they're going to be better in the second half of this game, and then it was even less. So,
all right. Sounds good. Well, let's round out the show with upset and locks of the week. So we'll start with upsets. And we're actually going to have 6 because I also have Mr. Action Junkies upsets and locks. We're going to have 6 for both. So upset of the week, again, how that works is everybody in the panel had to choose a underdog of at least 7 points to win the game, and they have to win outright to get you the point. We had 4 upsets last week. None of them did hit. I think the closest one was Action had Hawaii over UCLA, and they damn near did win. But the rest of them, not so much. So fresh slate, nobody's gotten one yet. So let's see if we can get the first one this week. So let's go through our upsets of the week. PG, we'll start with you. Who do you got?
All right, very excited about my upset of the week. Excuse me. I'm excited about this. This is a game we haven't talked about. BYU at SMU. I'm taking BYU plus 340 to upset SMU. First of all, SMU, first year up with the big boys. BYU's been with the big boys for a couple of years now. This is in Dallas, but not that that's just going to be a crazy place to play. The spread is 10.5, but I think BYU, they got a lot of old dudes on that team. They always do. They're going to be a little bit more physical. I feel like it's going to be a coin flip game. And then if I'm getting plus 340, that's a pretty big number. I know last year it was the same thing. People thought BYU wasn't going to be very good, especially in the first half of the season. They were actually a lot better than people thought. They ended up falling off with the lack of depth late season, but SMU, I don't know if I'm buying it just yet. We'll see. They did buy a lot of guys. They got a lot of names now on that squad, but I don't know if I'm buying it yet. Plus 340, pretty good number. So let's go.
All right.
I like it. Jake Retzlaff, I think, is the BYU quarterback.
Yeah.
Number 12. Dude's a dog. Dude will be doing some things.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that this environment's going to rattle him at all. If anything, it'll just juice him up. So I think it's the perfect spot.
Yep. So
Big 12 versus ACC as well,
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I like it. VFC, we'll go to you. What do you got for your upset of the week?
I hate to say this, but I'm taking Michigan. It's plus 240. I think we touched on it a little bit. Um, I'm not saying they're for sure going to win this game, but I think they've got a dang good shot. I mean, at the Big House, just a brutal place to play. I think they learned a lot last week. I don't think Texas really faced any adversity at all last week. So I think they're probably going to come in maybe a little bit too cocky. I think Michigan probably got chewed out a little bit in that locker room and are probably going to be ready for this game. So I'm not saying they win it, but for sure. But I think they keep it close. I really like them at this line. I think plus 240 is just too much for a top 10 matchup in the Big House.
Yeah, sounds good. Pace, we'll go to you for your upset.
Oh, I mean, I will take Boise. I won't give it out, but I like Boise obviously, but I'm going to go App State plus 625 against Clemson. App State in the Sun Belt. Their quarterback is the preseason player of the year. Dude's a dog. Again, I know we talked even last week that Clemson year in and year out has a good defense. So, that worries me a little bit considering it's freaking App State and, just the talent gap is probably going to be there. But if Clemson can't score and App State, with a solid quarterback can get a few touchdowns here, you never know. That's why they call it an upset. So I'm just fading Clemson at this point. So.
Okay. Sounds good. That's probably the biggest underdog thus far, but I like it. That's a pace pick is what that is.
Man, can you imagine if Florida State and Clemson start 0-2?
How sick would that be, dude?
Miami just runs away with the ACC.
Oh my gosh,
amazing!
Be awesome.
Kind of here for it, yeah.
Corey, your upset of the week.
I already hinted at it. I'm going to take Arkansas over Okie State. I think that one's a fun one. I think that game is going to be a shootout, and I don't know. I think this is a spot where SEC could beat Big 12 type thing. I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds good. We're going to have 5 different upsets. I like that. I played it in the snake draft. I'm going to do it again. I'm taking NC State over Tennessee. I liked it even when I thought it was going to be at Neyland. Now that I know it's at home, I like it even more. I think this could very well happen here. And like I said, I got NC State to win the ACC, so that's going to be my upset of the week. Mr. Action Junkie is also taking NC State over Tennessee as his upset of the week.
I think we're hitting an upset this week, boys. I really do.
Somebody's got to. Yep.
If nothing else, we're fading the public pretty hard with a lot of these. So
yeah,
that's usually a good place to be.
Absolutely. All right, we will now round out the show as always with our lock of the week. Lock of the week, very, very simple. If the lock hits, you get a win. If it doesn't, you don't. It's as easy. It's as simple as that. We went 3-1 last week on locks of the week. Me, Corey, and Pace all hit our locks. Action missed his lock by 3 points, so very, very close. We went 3-1 last week on upsets on locks of the week. So let's go right through it. I'll go with Actions first since he lost. He's taking Iowa minus 2.5 as his lock of the week.
Corey's happy about that.
Yeah.
Tripled up.
All right. So that's gonna be Action's lock of the week. Let's start with VFC. What do you got for your lock of the week?
Going back to it, I talked about it earlier. South Florida, I'm taking them at 31.5 because it's only minus 120. So 31.5 South Florida to cover that against Alabama. I think it's happening.
Okay. Sounds good. Corey, what is your lock of the week?
In Dylan, we trust. We're doing it again, running it back.
All right.
I mean, I got to do it. I got to do it.
It doesn't hit. I agree.
30 or die.
Football number, too.
34.5 is such a good number. That's such a good number to get.
It really is.
All right. Sounds good. PG, what do you got for your lock of the week?
I've been waffling on this one a little bit. Just going to kind of go with my gut, go with what I think I see on the field. I'm going to go with the over 58.5 in that Colorado and Nebraska game. I think Nebraska is going to win the game, and I'd like to take them just to cover. But I think that Colorado will find a way to get a few, random little Travis Hunter scores over the top or just whatever. And then I think Nebraska controls this game for the most part. It's a bit of a high total, but weather looks pretty good. I think both these teams, they've got quarterbacks that can get the ball out in space a little bit. So that always lends itself to an over. I don't think Colorado could stop anybody. So they're going to have to play a fast style of offense. Like Shadur Sanders said at halftime of their last game, we got to score every time we got the ball. He said that halftime of their last game. So they know that Nebraska is obviously a better offense than what they faced last week. No offense to NDSU. This is just more of a multiple type of offense in Nebraska. So I'll take the over.
Okay. Sounds good. Pace, what is your lock of the week?
All right, I'm going to go Northern Illinois, Notre Dame under 44.5 here. Northern Illinois scored a fair amount of points in their first week against an inferior opponent, but I just don't think they're going to score against Notre Dame. And then if you look at Notre Dame, who just went into A&M's place and got the win there. So if there is a little bit of a hangover, this could just be like a gross kind of game. Good defense, possible hangover for Notre Dame. Northern Illinois, I just don't see them scoring points. So under 44.5, maybe like a 28-3 kind of game. So I'm going to take the under here.
I like it.
All right. Sounds good. And then to round out locks of the week, I'm also going to do kind of what Pace did and do something I did not do in the snake draft. I'm going to go in the weeds for this one. I'm taking Louisiana Lafayette minus 15.5 against Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State many consider to be one of, if not the worst FBS team in the country. They don't return a lot on offense, and this is their first year in the FBS. Meanwhile, Louisiana, they had a 30-point win last week against Grambling State. Their quarterback, Ben Woolridge, is very, very solid. I think they can win this game by 16 plus. I don't think that's that crazy of a take at all. In fact, I think it's probably going to be a rout. So I'm going to take Louisiana Lafayette minus 15.5 as my lock of the week.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a Kyle play right there.
Yeah,
that's a Kyle play.
Yep, I'm an in the weeds kind of guy when it comes to stuff like that. But hey, gents, this was a lot of fun. I love always chatting up with college football with you. I know we'll see some of you guys here in a couple weeks. PG, know the invitation is always open to come on the show if you have a free Tuesday. So hopefully we get to see you here soon.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
VFC Corey, I know we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. So Corey, have fun in Lincoln, man. That's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I've never been to a night game, and like I said, I think I genuinely do know for a fact that this is going to be one of the top experiences, like game day type of experiences.
Heck yeah,
wild, dude. Most people are in the same boat as me that I'm seeing, where it's like the 2014 Miami game. Then that crowd was just absolutely ruckus. I think that's what it's going to be like. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
That's good though. That's good.
Yeah. No pressure, Corey. You got to get on TV. Pumbaa did week 1. Now
we need you.
I'm going to try. I mean, I've had the 15 for years, so it comes to circle. That's got to get me on TV somewhere.
We got to see Corp on TV.
Yeah. You need to do a thing where you pull up the middle of the jersey and tuck it like the girls do, and then you have a little. That's what you need to do.
Corey, we know you got enough chest hair to shave a 15 into there. Come on.
That's right.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I absolutely could.
Ooh, we might have came up with something here.
You might have.
No way, Shelby lets it happen.
Yeah, VFC, hope you have a good week. Pace, looking forward to talking with you again next week. And that's going to do it for the episode 3 of the Fanatics. And we will see you next week to have a snake draft for week 3.
Good luck, boys.
See you, gents.
See ya.